Right, the third and final part of these World Cup previews with us here at Star Sports and with Nick Goff is the group games. And Nick, seeing as there's 48, I really am part-time and I can't remember all 48, so I'm going to cheat and have the laptop here. And you can run us through your views and more, you know, everyone loves an acca on the football. And if we can have a lucky 15 or a Yankee or something like that that gets us through 2 weeks of games, it's perfect. So if you could pull up the highlights for you or the best value bets of the group stages and the group matches, hit us.
We better start with the first game of the tournament, where I think this will probably be the only time in the tournament as well I'm with Russia. But I'm very anti-Saudi Arabia. I think they're awful. Their preparation for this tournament has been very, very bad. What they did was they sent a batch of their players across to Spain from January onwards to train with Spanish professional clubs, and they signed them on part-time basis with a view to playing them, but none of them got in any teams, even in the second division, let alone in La Liga. So a lot of these players are coming here having not played any competitive football for 6 months.
They'll be fresh.
They will be fresh. But I think they're probably the worst team in the tournament, and it's very, very nice that the hosts get them in the first game.
Convenient, would you say?
Yes, I don't know whether warm balls exist now. I think, but it's nice. Let's say that. And I don't think Russia will make any mistake in this first game.
Well, they're 3 to 10 to win the game.
So 3 to 10 is one for your acca, but I think if you're playing in the game and you want to play something at a slightly bigger price, the half-time, full-time, I think it's 20 to 21.
Okay.
And or to win to nils, 4 to 5. You know, I don't think you want to be on Saudi to score there, so you can enhance that 3 to 10 to 4 to 5 if you're playing to win to nil, which looks like it might be something you want to do, or even look at some of the handicaps when they go up nearer the time.
Well, should we take the 4 to 5 as leg one of the Nick Goff?
4 to 5 to win to nil sounds like we better take that.
That's in the first game. Russia to beat Saudi Arabia to nil. 4 to 5 is leg one of the Nick Goff first round acca.
Yeah.
Right, next game. I know this
second game.
This Salah injury's really got to you, Nick, hasn't it?
So Uruguay were looking like they're going to open about 4 to 5 shots against Egypt, which I really wanted to be on that because this whole Egypt loving's gone crazy.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of half decent judges talking up Egypt still. I can't have it at all.
Swim against that tide.
Yeah. They're now 1 to 2 because it looks like Salah might not be fit for that first game. Obviously they'll take him anyway, and even if he's only fit for the third game, he still goes.
Yeah.
But he's odds against now, I think, to play that first game against Uruguay.
Well, they're now 1 to 2.
Yeah, but
do you still want it in there?
I think 1 to 2 is still fine if it's Uruguay against Salah-less Egypt.
Right. Okay. So that's Cavani and Suarez tearing into the Egyptian back four. So that's Russia to win the nil 4 to 5. Uruguay to beat Egypt 1-2. Now this is the one I like.
So this is the Super Saturday where there's 4 games on the same day.
Yeah. One
of those games. We don't necessarily need this in our acca.
No, go on, put it in.
But we better stick up a massive price just to see if we can land one glorious one.
Yeah.
The more sensible person would take the 11 to 2 draw, but I'm going everything in. Australia 16 to 1 to beat France. You won't see anyone else tipping that, will you?
No.
Just me.
Go on.
And
get him home.
Yeah. If there's going to be a massive first round shock, it's Australia. I really like Australia. I think I'm pro them in everything. I've backed them myself to qualify. I'll be on them on the Asian handicap +2 here.
We'll back Australia at 16 for the glory, but we're saying that +2 at probably like 10 to 11,
or even +1.5, something like that. Slight odds against is a more sensible way to go. But it's a World Cup, and if you can't have a 16 to 1 winner unless you back a 16 to 1 shot, can you?
No.
So let's do it.
Okay, right. Moving on. Peru, Denmark's a game we talked about. England, Tunisia. Any of these?
Yeah. Denmark 23 to 20 against Peru. I thought I was going to be strong. This news that Guerrero's back and available, I think, has given Peru a massive buoy, and so maybe we'll leave it out.
Sort of lifted the other players as much as anything, isn't it?
He's the focal point of their attack, and without him, I think they were going to really struggle in opposition's penalty boxes, and that has given Peru a big lift. And so, what I thought was going to be a bet for me in the first round of games, I might now leave.
Right. Okay. England, Tunisia. I've got written down here. 4 to 11 England. No. See, I just wasted my time right now. I just must have not been listening.
It's just because it's England, we feel obliged to talk about it, but there's nothing to say.
No, ignore them. And the England-Belgium game's the same. We think the prices are about right.
So that'll be the final game of the group stage, and a lot of firms, Star included, have got all of the 48 games priced already. And that's a nice thing, and you might be able to pick out one or two that you've got your eye on, but you've got to be careful because you've got to factor in the results. So say England have drawn one of their first 2 games, but Belgium have won all of theirs. It might be a case where England need to get a point from that last game, but Belgium don't actually care. And because in the second round you play the team from the Colombia, Poland, Senegal group, it's not like you're desperate to avoid one of those teams. So Belgium could easily go into that game, or England if the boot's on the other foot, just thinking, we're already through and it doesn't really matter to us whether we come first or second. There's no team we're trying to avoid in the next round.
Okay, so from a professional punter's point of view, would your advice be ignore that last round of games now, or try and be clever and predict what's going to be happening going into them?
A little bit of both, actually. There's some that I would be trying to avoid.
Get off that fence, Nick. Come
England
on.
v Belgium, I'd definitely be avoiding punting now. But there is one game where I just don't... If my view about Australia is right, and it might not be, but if it is, 23-10 against Peru in the final game, if Australia play better than the market expects in the first 2 games, and Peru are just what they are, that won't go off that price.
Right.
So that'll be one where I might take it now. The other one was Japan against Senegal. What annoyed me when the draw was made was that the first set of games are Colombia against Japan, where I'm sort of happy to be against both of those, and Poland play Senegal, where I want to be pro both of those. So
are you looking for draws in those 2, and then we can start the group from fresh?
yeah. Whatever happens. 2 draws there would be quite nice, and it allows me to get with the teams that I want to be off an even keel, if you like. But the second round of group games, Senegal play Japan, and Senegal have opened about 6-4. They're only slight favs against Japan. Japan haven't played a competitive fixture under this manager. They sacked the manager after qualifying. There was doubts about the old manager taking players like Kagawa and Honda, the old guard of Japanese football, with them. So they've not been part of the squad the whole way through. Their friendly results have been really underwhelming. I just think this time that Japanese football is really expecting nothing. And sometimes that can work in your favour, but here I think the Senegalese side are fancying themselves to qualify from this group, and to do so they'll have to beat Japan around 6-4. I quite like that. Right,
so in conclusion for the group games here, are we going to have a lucky 15, or are we going to go lucky 31 with the 16-1 Australia in there? Stick it in. Right, so to highlight what we've gone through there, Nick's putting up Russia to beat Saudi Arabia 0 at 4-5, Uruguay to beat Egypt at 1-2, the big mighty Australia going in at 16-1 against France, Denmark to beat Peru at 23-20.
We left that one out, didn't we, Denmark?
Did we leave that one out?
Yeah.
All right, we're leaving that one out, and we're putting Senegal in.
Australia 23-10 against Peru.
So we're going to put Australia in twice.
Oh no, we better not do that. Go on, Denmark it is.
Denmark it is.
Yeah.
Denmark it is at 23-20, and it's all running on to Senegal to beat Japan. So that's your 5 in there. We've been through the outright market, we've been through the groups, we've been through games. It's been great to sit here and talk to you, Nick, and hear your views on the World Cup and look at it from a real professional's point of view. If you could give the Star Sports punters, or any punters out there, one piece of punting advice, for not just for the World Cup, but for football punting in general, what is your MO? What is your bit of advice for them? I can put this away now.
Yeah, you can. And you can put me on the spot with a question I wasn't expecting.
Exactly, there we go. That's why you get paid the big bucks, Nick.
So I think in the World Cup, be very, very aware of what a small sample size we're dealing with here. We have, in qualification, we see these teams play 10, 12 times. You watch a Premier League season, you watch 38 games. So make sure that you're understanding that what happens in qualification was 2 years ago, and we might not be seeing the same stuff happening now.
Okay.
And bear in mind that certain things have changed. Like Japan, it's completely changed. What happened in qualifying there, you don't know whether you're going to see the same formation, anything like that. Don't read too much into friendlies. International friendlies are a real joke. Even these ones in the warm-up for tournaments, they're a complete waste of time, and everyone's experimenting. So don't take too much into account about friendlies, but watch every single game and enjoy it, because there's nothing like a World Cup, is there? Nothing at all. Well, guys, from all of us at Star Sports, enjoy the World Cup. Go and see all those prices at the website, which is the starsports.bet. Remember that offer, open an account, 20 quid on the outright market or the top goal scorer. We'll give you 250 quid if Germany win the World Cup, or 500 if they win on penalties. But
From me, Nick, thank you very much. It's been a real pleasure. Let's get Uruguay home. I'm sure it'll be a Skinner for most books, and me and you can go on holiday.
Aye, aye.